Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you happen to be watching. Welcome to the Six Bugle Podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Ruiz, and today we have a very special guest, soon to be Maxwell certified speaker, trainer, coach, Angela Caliver. Angela, how are you?
I am doing well, Rudy. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. So, you and I had talked a while back, and because we have a connection with the John Maxwell certified team, and you have a very special company. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
I would love to. And yes, I am going to soon be a certified John Maxwell part of the leadership team. I am the founder of the Assistant Collective. I specialize in helping administrative professionals and executive leaders build proactive systems that will move them from reactive support to strategic report
Oh,
partnership.
fantastic. Yeah, that's right up our alley because that's basically what we're all about here at the Six Bugle, and we have just started established a nonprofit for fire service administrative assistants throughout the country. So we're the
Mhm.
first national association. So we are glad that you reached out to us, and you're going to be part of our one of our speakers at our conference in September. Yes.
Yes, I'm very, very excited. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in September.
And of course, you are a Buckeyes, OH.
IO.
It's gonna drive the other people crazy. So
Right.
especially those up in Michigan, but that's okay.
That's okay.
They know that we love them and everything. So I have a couple questions for you, Angela. So
Sure.
let's see. Let me get this started here. So the first question is, you use the phrase command presence to describe what administrative professionals in the fire service need to develop. That's a term we typically hear from fire chiefs and fire officers. What does command presence actually look like for someone sitting outside the chief's office rather than on the inside?
That's a great question. And so when you think about the word command presence, people think about someone in uniform giving orders. And in the fire service, that really makes a lot of sense. However, for an administrative professional, commanding presence looks completely different. And it looks different in the way that you show up and how you handle pressure. It's calm, it's clear communication when things are moving very quickly. It's anticipating what your leadership will need before they even have to ask. And so for me, command presence isn't about authority over people, teams, or anything like that. It's about the authority over your role, knowing your lane, owning it fully, and then operating with clarity and structure. And so when you consistently show up that way, leadership begins to rely on you differently. And
Got
that shift can change how you, as the administrative assistant, are perceived within that organization.
Excellent. So it sounds like you're talking about a shift from being a task manager to a trusted strategic partner, right?
Exactly, exactly. And that is the shift that has to happen when you want to position yourself as and not be looked at as just an assistant. How am I going to be your strategic partner in this relationship that we have?
Yeah, excellent. I know a lot of listeners out there are somewhat in the middle of that transition right now. So, without giving away too much of the information that you're planning on saving for September, what's the single biggest mindset shift that has to happen first before anything else can change?
So the shift has to happen internally first. And you have to move away from waiting to be told to do the task to thinking ahead. And so I've been there before, right? I worked as an executive assistant for a very busy nonprofit CEO. He had never had an executive assistant before. So the expectation was pretty straightforward. You manage the calendar, you check the mail, handle the logistics. And I did that very, very well. But I had to realize that in order for me to stay there, I would always be reacting. to stay in that place. And so I had to shift and change how I operated, which was a little bit different, right? So before board meetings, I would block time off on his calendar to make sure that he had space to prepare for his executive director statement, all of the things that he needed to do for that meeting without him even asking, right? And so I begin to ask myself, what direction is he going to need to make next week? And what decisions is he going to need to make for next week? Instead of just saying, well, what's happening today? And so over time, I wasn't just managing his schedule, I was supporting the strategy that I was invited. And so then as a result of that, I was begin to be invited into leadership team meetings, and I was really considered a part of the leadership team. And so when you shift and you make that adjustment to consistently be proactively thinking ahead and have that proactive anticipation, you begin to move from that person that is trusted to just complete the task, and you're more of a partner.
Right, exactly. And I could see that happening with a lot of our administrative assistants, that not just those that have been with their departments for years, but those that are just starting out. It's a good idea to let them know that this is what it's all about, not just, like you said, answering the phones, sending out emails and taking notes during meetings. Having that anticipation and understanding them better builds that trust too,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it does. It builds a lot of trust because then they can fully concentrate on what their role is growing. For me, with the entrepreneurs and the people that I support, it allows them to help them work in areas of their business in order to grow their business. So when I'm doing all of the things that I need to do behind the scenes, having that strong proactive anticipation, I'm able to foresee things that are coming in the future that they may not have necessarily thought about.
Right, right. That brings a tremendous amount of value to the administrative assistant, doesn't it? And I could see that as more like a coaching type of thing, so that it ultimately benefits the organization as a whole, right?
Yes, it does. And that is one of the things, one of the services that I offer within my organization as well, is because a lot of times there are not professional development dollars for administrative professionals, right?
Mm.
Those
Right.
dollars are spent to show us a different task on
Mhm.
how to do something else. And so one of the things for which really drove my reason to come into the John Maxwell certification process is so that I can position myself to be in a space to help administrative professionals like myself who had to learn through mentors and other people that I worked for so that they can level up and do things more than what they already are.
Right, right. And I'll tell you that I've done a lot of work with the International Association of Fire Chiefs, where we've done run programs and I've done workshops. And every time I run into somebody, one of the fire chiefs throughout my meetings and my discussions with them, they always say, "Man, you're doing a great thing with the administrative assistants, and it's something that is much needed." And so they understand the value. They understand that it's an investment that they need to make because you don't typically think about it that much. And I'll tell you what, the stories that they tell me about their administrative assistants is exactly what you're talking about. The anticipation of what I'm going to be facing here in the next few hours before a meeting or before a project. Having that ability to be able to foresee some of the issues that they're not thinking about because they're thinking about the core issue, to be able to be there for them and address that or take care of that very specific detail is tremendous, and it's a great help for them. So they recognize that. I will tell you that they do recognize that and they do appreciate it. And that's the message we're trying to send here with the Six Bugle, is that we do have value and they are appreciated.
And that's good to hear, because a lot of times one of the common thoughts of administrative professionals is I'm just here to make sure that the calendars are met and a lot of times, depending upon where the person works, they may not feel as though that they're an integral part of the leadership team. And it took me some years for me to really fully embrace that. What do you mean I'm part of the executive leadership team? And one of my mentors at the time, she said to me, she said, yes, you are indeed part of the leadership team, and you need to move as such. And when that finally set in and I began to really think about the role that I play within the organization, the role that I play within the C-suite is part of leadership. And so once that clicks, everything is completely different. You begin to move differently, you begin to think differently, and then your relationship with the people that you support is affected differently in a positive way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sounds great. So now that you're completing your John Maxwell leadership certification and you're bringing that framework directly into your session at the conference, for the administrative professionals who has been in the fire service for years but has never really seen themselves as a leader, what would you want them to walk away believing about themselves after spending time with you in Perrysburg?
I want everyone to that understanding that leadership isn't reserved for rank or title. Leadership is definitely influence. If you manage communication, you coordinate logistics, you protect your chief's time, you help with information flow, you're influencing outcomes every single day. It may not be labeled as leadership, but it is. And so, through my leadership training that I want to give to everyone in September, is that I see how powerful that realization can be. And you don't have to change your title to grow your leadership capacity. You just have to start operating intentionally instead of accidentally. And then when you do, your confidence will shift, and so does the way that other people see you.
That sounds fantastic. As our leadership guru always says, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And once you establish that level of influence, you become a huge asset to your organization and to yourself as an individual, right? Because it makes you feel more proud and it makes you feel like you're contributing to the organization. And that overall is going to be a benefit not just to yourself, but to everyone that's involved.
Definitely. Because as an administrative assistant, one of our main goals, we you have to have a heart to give and a heart to show up and care for others. And a lot of times we enjoy being behind the scenes, and we enjoy, just being out of the spotlight and just making sure that the people that we support are successful and everything goes off without any issues. But you can, walk a little bit taller when when you know that you are doing something a little bit different and you're performing in a way that, can help everyone in the long run.
Absolutely. Well, I think you're going to be a huge hit, Angela, in September. I know I'm looking forward to hearing
Thank
your
you.
entire program, and they're going to love you because this is exactly what we're trying to accomplish here at the Six Bugle, and I think you're going to be a solid fit. So we do appreciate you spending your time with us, and we look forward to seeing you in September.
I appreciate it, Rudy, and I can't wait to see everyone.
Sounds good. Angela Caliver, thank you very much for your time here and with us here on the Six Bugle. And again, we have registration open for the conference in September, September 16th to the 18th, here in Perrysburg at the same location at the Holiday Inn and Suites. And we should have the booking for the hotel rooms available here soon. I just had a question about that earlier today, so I want to make sure I get that taken care of. But you can register now on our website, www.thesixbugle.org, O-R-G, and we'll have information there for you as well. Thank you very much for your time here on the Six Bugle podcast. Take care.